Hey there folks, this is Scott Grove of GroovyMusicLessons.com. That's right, Dr. Groovy. Yes, another video I've done before, but people keep asking and people keep refusing to look in my archives. I've got a beautiful set of archives if anybody wants to look through them. Again, as you can tell by the title, simply people want to know why they should not plug an acoustic electric guitar through a guitar amplifier, because sure, it makes sense on paper, but that's where it stops. I'm going to use just a very cheap to mid-level acoustic to kind of get this one by, because that's probably what you got if you're asking these questions. So I'm just going to use this Ibanez exotic wood. What's this one? It's like a ash looking thing going on, so it's like a guitar with herpes. Okay, so there you go. You got the is this the B band system? I actually love the sound of the B bands. These guitars are hit and miss a lot. They got to usually have a big hump right in the middle of the neck, but you go through about 100 of them and return them, you'll find one that's okay. So very average guitar acoustic. Don't forget, folks, hey, if you can get an XLR in there, do it. But don't forget, you can always run through a direct box to get you from here to the PA like you're supposed to. But that's in the other video too, so you can look up what a direct box is. So you've got an XLR and you got a 1/4 inch output. I've told people that yes, ultimately these are supposed to go through a sound system, a PA system if you will. They haven't been called PA systems for decades, but a sound system, that's where everything goes through it. Okay? That's your vocals, your drums, your every single thing that's on the stage goes through the sound system. So that's where it will ultimately end up. A sound system is usually a three-way system that has your subs, your mid-range speakers, and your compression horns, or for layman terms, a really expensive tweeter that does a lot better job. Okay, so you need to realize that in order to get the subtleties that are present in an acoustic guitar, a regular guitar amp just doesn't cover those frequencies. There are just speakers in there and no tweeters, no horns, and it's those horns, those tweeters, the voicing of the amplifier itself that is dedicated to electric guitars. Guitars like this are not in any way enhanced by putting them through a regular guitar amp. There's nothing there that can make them sound like this, but just louder. That's the thing, you're not trying to change the way an instrument or a voice or anything sounds. You're just trying to amplify it and make it sound like the real thing. That's what people usually mess up, is they try to make an instrument sound like something else for some reason via a bunch of different EQs and effects and so forth. Again, an acoustic guitar is supposed to sound like an acoustic guitar, but just louder. Okay, so the more expensive guitars will have probably a microphone built inside. They will have many different pickups around on the soundboard of the guitar, inside, over here, underneath the neck, up here, back here in the back, all working at once, and you can mix them together. When you go to the recording studio, they may or may not choose to use that, and you can blend those via different controls up here on the more expensive ones. But they will mic here, they will mic offside to the sound hole, they will mic up here on the neck so they can actually get the squeaks in, because that's part of the instrument. They will put a room, a couple room mics out there so they can get the natural just sound of the guitar. It might take 4 or 5 mics to mic it up properly. But, okay, I had told these people that are asking, said you can use a keyboard amp, or, yeah, there are acoustic guitar amplifiers out there. Tons of them. So you can use that. use a PA system, a small powered one or something, if you're just using it for whatever else and maybe you want to plug a microphone into it. Most of your acoustic amps have a place to put a microphone in it. They all, I said, or a bass amplifier that has tweeters, horns in them. A keyboard amplifier is the same as all this stuff. It's just another multi-way amplifier. The only difference between a keyboard is it has generally a lot of channels, because keyboards are usually stereo. You can send a mono line out to the main mixing board, but you don't want to eat up, you know, 8, 10, 12 channels on your main mixing board with keyboards, so you would actually bring them all into just one channel, or two channels, or one stereo channel. So they have plenty of places to plug things in. And some people will plug their keyboards, their acoustic guitars, and a couple other fun toys in there. A couple electronic drums in there, and just send that one signal to the PA. So again, I'm going to show you guys real quick how horrible, and I'm trying to make the guitar amp sound as good as it can with an acoustic through it, but it just don't happen. So I'm going to show you this guitar, which, remember, when you plug these in, there's actual current coming out. Even though it's just a 9-volt battery, that is current that can actually blow up your horns or tweeters and sound systems, PA systems, or anything that you plug it into. Okay? If I plug it into this bass rig over here, which I will be doing, the volume will be off before I plug it in. Same with the PA system, the volume will be off. Otherwise, if you just go to unplug it or plug it in, you could do some serious damage to generally just the horns or the tweeters, whatever you call them. Okay, so let's check them out as I had described. And again, I'm using currently because everybody keeps yelling, and I'll go ahead and break down and do it and actually grab a, hey, like the shirt. Anyway, so I will grab an actual computer-based crap and start micing things up through there and mixing them and doing all that garbage. So first you talk me into high def, and then you want the world, I know. But right now you're still going through the camera mic, so that's what we're dealing with. So right now I'm going to go through, just so you can see it and know what's going on. This bass amp here, let me get behind the control so I can actually see something. Right here, this bass rig. Yeah, so I'm going to have 8 10-inch speakers, and as you see in the middle, the most important thing, right there, that horn. That's actually not a tweeter, that's actually a horn. There is a difference. Tweeters blow rather easily. Reminds me of my ex-wife's. Okay, so you got them here, you've got them down the bottom cabinet too. That's what makes everything happen. And plus, you get some, these are meant to deliver sounds from basses that cost $10,000, and man, you want every bit of subtlety there. And the 10s sound amazing, but it's that tweeter right there. It's great things like compression and EQ and all kinds of stuff from the amplifier, which I'm just using a, will this thing even come close? High def, there you go. So I'm, using a little bit of compression, one knob. I'm not thrilled about that. EQ in it, and sounds great. Whatever you put through this thing sounds great. Sounds like a flippin' PA because it basically is, even though it's a bass amp. So I will run that just as it sits here. I will just go plug in the guitar, point this straight at the cabinet, and let you hear what's happening. As always, the only thing I use, and why do I use it? I'm not sponsored by them, I just love these people because they're fabulous and they make great stuff, so I'll always give a pitch to South Creek Audio. They supply me with all my cables for everything, for my sound system, my entire guitar rig, for everything in the world. Do I have an endorsement deal? No, but this is where I get them. They're just fabulous, and I've got, at least 50 of them now. Okay, so I'm going into the 1/4 inch input here for all of these. So I'm going to plug it in while the volume is down. I'm going to leave everything set the way it is on this thing through all three things that I'm demonstrating. So I'm just simply going to turn the volume up over here. Okay, so you would not hear this high end, and you'll see that in a second. I'll get out of the way so you don't hear what's coming off of the guitar. You'll only hear what's coming out of this amplifier, okay? So I'll just stay here. Okay, so it's just, let me grab a pick, and you can hear these other strings. Okay, just cool. Okay, so it's just... it's just full, nice, great sounding system. Okay, so that is the bass amp. Ba-da-ba-da, and the horns, and so you have subs, you have horns. You have mid-range because you have 10-inch speakers instead of big-ass floppy 15-inch speakers. Yeah, it makes a difference. Okay, let's put it through the little makeshift sound system I have in here that I use for everything. For anything that can plug in except for an electric guitar and maybe a bass, but I do everything through this. This is simply a little bitty Crappinger, as I always like to call them. It's just a powered Behringer PA head. I've used these things for so many things. Okay, there it is. Will it focus? I'm so glad you guys talked me into these things. Okay, so it's plugged in right there where the South Creek audio cord is. And hey, what do you know, there's more. Okay, so it's just plugged into a channel. There's many channels here to plug into. And it's got equalizers, it's got reverb turned on it. And all it is going to is these cheap, and I mean cheap, but they sound great, are these Nady, I know, but some things just happen to sound good, so I grab them. Just Nady monitors. It's got 12-inch speakers in them, and the horn. So the sound will be coming from up there, which may or may not make a difference with this particular microphone. So, where will I point this? Who cares? I know. It's like it's just going to come through that stupid little camera mic anyway. So, there, I'll point it towards that speaker up there to try to get as much as I can from it. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the same guitar. Let me see this so I can see where I'm at. Same guitar. Plug in my South Creek audio cable. Where is it? Find the hole, Scotty. Okay, Scotty found the hole. Everything's still where it's at. I'm just going to go turn it up on the PA because, again, you can cause serious damage if you don't do so. Okay, so it's just turned up. So, I'm way over here. I'll get out of the way. Play it through here. I've got a little bit of reverb just for fun. I'll put it on the guitar amp too. I just love some reverb. So here it is through an actual PA system, a low quality PA system. This is just my music room PA. It doesn't need to be fancy in here. turn it down, turn it off. You can put a switch on the floor that you run your acoustic electrics through that will actually just mute the thing, so you don't have to shut them off via a channel. You just hit a button and it turns it off. What do those look like? Those look like this. Just plug it in, turn it on, turn it off. It's got a little light on there. The battery in them is only used to shut them on or off. There's actually all these tuners that I have laying around. Just put the keyboard type of foot switch in them. It'll mute it and you can safely unplug everything and not have to worry about it. So it's a beautiful thing. Okay, now the part that 90% of the world is doing just because they are uninformed, and which 90% of the rest of the world will still continue to do even after this because they don't watch my channel, because the myriad of morons out there are told not to watch my channel because somehow it is not giving you great information. But yeah, my channel is one of the few that actually does, but it doesn't gel with what you've been taught by the oh-so-trained professionals at Guitar Center or at pretty much any other place here on YouTube. Okay, guitar amplifier right here. Let's just turn the amp on. Okay, and the did I get the right cable? Oh, there it comes. Had to let the tube warm up. Okay, I've got the treble on 10 on this thing too. Just trying to get that horn sound. It's that horn or tweeter that makes or breaks you. But then again, guitar amps are not voiced in any way, meaning they are not meant to reproduce an acoustic sound. They're just not made for that. Not a single one of them ever was. But there are dedicated acoustic amplifiers which can be used. There's no real reason to have one unless you're going to be playing small coffee houses or at home and you want to use it for your PA and your acoustic. Best thing to do if you're going to do that kind of thing is just get that little PA head that's powered over there like I showed you. A couple little cabinets and you can always plug in, because chances are somebody might want to jam with you someday. 2 or 3 people, and they might want to sing with you too. So you might have 2 or 3 guitars plugged in and 2 or 3 microphones. If you get an acoustic amp, it's you and you alone and nobody else can jump in. And then you can also plug in CD players and backing tracks, your iPhones and what have you. So go that route before you ever grab an acoustic amp. Anyway, so here is a guitar amp, and not made to try to sound. I tried to make it sound as good as I possibly can to try to recreate the sound of this guitar. And I will just stand over here and let you hear why you're not supposed to be using these things. Okay, I'll try to get behind this thing so that you're not hearing my guitar, because I want you to hear how just horrible it is. Breakup there. That's just natural input distortion. You know, it's got tubes in it. They do that. If you play real soft, you'll be okay. The tone will still suck, but if you have tubes in your amp, man, it's just what it does. These acoustics, man, they have the preamp in them. Again, have a 9-volt battery. And that signal is so much hotter than any pickups that you're going to have in any guitar. I don't care if you have 80 pickups on your guitar, they're never going to be as hot of an input signal into the front end of the preamp of that guitar amp as a 9-volt battery with an acoustic electric. And you're going to end up with this. No, that's set on a clean channel. That's set on a Fender sound. But if you put that kind of signal into it, that's what you're going to get. You're like, well, that'd be cool to have distortion on my acoustic. No, it's really not. If you want your acoustic to sound like an acoustic, this is why you don't plug it into a guitar amp. This is why I said, yes, you can use a bass amp that happens to have the horn in them. The high-end amps will. You'll get people who like just plain old paper cones. I'm going to shut this off just because it just disgusts me to hear it. So that's it, man. So every amp in the world will be better than an electric guitar amp. It's just, they're not meant for it. So that be that. So once again, I'm Scott Grove from GroovyMusicLessons.com. Dr. Groovy, trying to explain for the second or third time, dedicated videos straight for this exact subject, what's what. And the more powerful your system is that you end up using, the better, because you could turn it up louder before it distorts like this. If it's a solid state amplifier, it can distort, and it will distort if you try to turn it up. It's just like the radio in your car. You know, you get it up past 3 or 4, it starts distorting. So you get something that is, you know, quite a bit more powerful, just so you can turn it up still to halfway, and it's still going to distort then, but halfway on that really powerful one is going to blow your head off, whereas halfway on your factory one, you know, sound like somebody took razor blades to your speakers. So you want something with plenty of power, which means you're going to be in the 3 digits as far as your wattage, and at least, and always have at least a 2-way system, something with woofers and tweeters, if I have to call them that, or better yet, just get a small PA or a big PA, or get a keyboard amp, or what have you, but make sure that horn's there. And again, that is why you don't use guitar amps. You don't want distortion on your guitars. If you do, put the acoustic down, grab an electric, and have fun. Things are meant for what they're meant for. Sure, you can experiment and blah blah blah, and I have, just as much as anybody, taken an acoustic, plugged it in, turned all kinds of distortion on, it feeds back really fast and really crazy. If that's what you want, cool. Experiment. But you will not, no matter how hard you try, get a great sound out of a guitar amp. It's just not meant for it. Okay? So, there you go. Hope that helped. That's it. I'll catch you guys very soon on some very cool stuff coming up. Alright? Bye-bye.